Hey, you're looking good today. This is Frank in the Brazil Times newsroom, and in today's edition of the Brazil Times, Paul Sinders spoke on behalf of the county commissioners at the Chamber of Commerce luncheon yesterday. He addressed road funding and other matters in his talk. Whether or not your county road is improved this summer depends on state funding, and that amount will probably not be known until April or possibly July, Sinders said. Last year, Clay County was able to obtain a grant from the state with a 50% match. Sinders, speaking in front of the Clay County Chamber of Commerce and its guests Tuesday, said he's hoping rumors of an 80-20 matching grant would prove to be true this year. If so, a state grant for roads would match 80% for every 20% the county pays, which would indeed work out better than the county paying 50%, it would seem. But we'll have to wait and see about that. Mr. Sinders also spoke about other things, but primarily his speech was about the highway department and roads. Hey, Lisa Mars is here. Glad to see you today, Lisa. Also on the front page today, door hangers offering free smoke detectors are being left on people's homes by the Brazil Fire Department. Let's talk about that for a minute. Wally's here. Wally Hooker, glad to meet you, one of my favorite undertakers. Glad to see you today, Wally. And the door hangers. If you see somebody in a blue shirt coming around in your neighborhood putting stuff on the door, be sure and check it out. Don't just throw it away. We thought it was maybe some religious group putting information out, and he waved at me, and I just ignored him because I didn't want to get into that kind of conversation. But at any rate, it turns out it was a firefighter, and I apologize to you if you're watching. I'd love to have you come in and have coffee or a meal or anything, because you guys are true heroes, and I appreciate what the fire department does. One of the things they're doing is providing free smoke detectors in connection with the Wabash Valley Red Cross. And the Red Cross is paying for the smoke detectors, Chief Jake Bennett told me. And the fire department is spreading the word and installing them. So if you get a door hanger, let's see, I got one here. You can't see it because it's backwards on Facebook. But anyway, it looks something like this. You see that picture there on the back? It's in Spanish. In the front, it's in English. It says smoke alarms save lives. So I really appreciate what the fire department and the Red Cross is doing in that regard. So I hope that you'll get your smoke detectors installed. We have smoke detectors in our house, and it's a good thing. Okay, moving on. Also on the front page today, no better way to let military personnel know how much they are appreciated than to serve them a home-cooked meal of lovingly prepared food. On Sunday, members of the Auxiliary of the Busing Loudermilk Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 1127, stopped by the Brazil National Guard Armory to do that. And Ivy Jacobs has a story about that meal that was served to our war heroes that served and are now members of the VFW. Okay, let's see here. Let's open up inside and see what's going on in there. Now we have a story about that fire that destroyed Bob Rusk's barbershop up in Park County. You heard about that? US 36 east of 41 down there at the intersection. Terrible, terrible fire over the weekend. And Bob Rusk was Park County's only barber, and I guess he still is, but he's not going to be back in business immediately, I don't think. But anyway, you can read that story for yourself. Our sports editor, Kerry Fox, reports from Swit City. The Clay City Eels came out firing from the gates on opening night of the White River Valley basketball sectional. However, it was Bloomfield that finished the battle to take a 48-38 victory over the Eels. The Cardinals advanced to Friday night semifinal against Shakamak. The Eels wrap up their season with a 7-17 overall mark. So that story's there. Also, Carrie has this story. There will be no strangers among the participants at the Class 3A boys basketball sectional at Edgewood. Postseason play tipped off Tuesday evening among 6 teams that all shared the season grinding through the Western Indiana Conference. The teams comprising the Edgewood sectional faced each other a combined 32 times during the season when the conference and tournament slates are taken into account. Brown County and Sullivan faced off in the 6 p.m. game, followed by West Vigo and Owen Valley. And we have more from that sectional action in the Brazil Times, and I know we will in the days ahead as well. Okay, got to check out what Jeffy's up to. I love the family circus and Bill Keene. Okay, this time Jeffy is tracking mud through the house. Ever happened in your house? No, never. No, it's our dog, our Joe dog, that does it, but nevertheless. Jeffy's tracking mud through the house. He says, "Don't worry, Mommy. I saw your papers and I didn't walk on them." Well, hey, good for you, Jeffy. Newspapers are important. I think Mom had a different use for them than you had in mind, but nevertheless, newspapers are vital to our democracy. That's what George W. Bush said the other day. I would agree wholeheartedly with that statement. And he certainly had his conflicts with the press, but nevertheless, he is absolutely right. A free press is vital to our democracy. And that coming from a Republican. Hey, I'm glad to see you today. I'll see you in Rotary this afternoon at noon, I hope. Kevin Tompkins, my journalist friend who I respect greatly, is here. Glad to see you, Kevin. Up at Noblesville. Glad to have you join us today. And wherever our paths happen to cross, I'll look forward to seeing you there. Remember that meeting tonight, if you're going to it, the Brazil Comprehensive Plan meeting. That series wraps up tonight at City Hall at 6 o'clock, and it'll be a great thing for our city, I know. Some 175 pages is in the report, the final report that's going to be presented. So I don't know if that's going to be a long meeting or a short meeting, but it will be important to the future growth of Brazil. I know that. We'll catch you later. This is Frank in the Brazil Times newsroom.